Alright, so good morning everybody. We are in Kansas Park, and this time it's just, there we go. This time it's just me and Miss Hake.
Hello.
Miss Dieters couldn't make it, she's not feeling well. But that means even more donuts and cinnamon rolls for us. See? Yummy! And we get to eat all of them. Haha. So, Miss Hake and I are going to tell you a little bit about the books that we have been reading this week.
I read The Book Thief by Marcus
Zusak, I think.
Okay.
Zusak? Zeus? I don't know.
Anyways, it's a book that is more like a historical fiction around World War II, and it follows the story of Liesl Nieminger, and basically it's kind of set up so she starts on a train on her way to a foster family because her mom isn't able to take care of her and her brother anymore, but along the way her brother doesn't do so well and he doesn't end up making it, and it kind of starts out where she's kind of a little bit more withdrawn when she makes it to her foster family, and it just kind of follows her story along the way during World War II, and it's really interesting. I'm only a little bit through it. You can see I'm still working on it, but so far it's really interesting. And one of the most intriguing parts about this book is the narrator of this book is actually deaf, which is really cool. And you would think it would make it a lot more like dreary or kind of scary, but honestly, he's kind of a comforting narrator, which is kind of an interesting take that I wouldn't expect, but absolutely love it. It is a movie too, so keep that in mind, but only watch the movie after you read the book.
Yup.
But check it out, it's pretty good.
Oh, but if you've already seen the movie, you should still read the book.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Good. We're rolling.
Alright, so, I've actually finished the Lacuna. It took me forever. I mean, it's a 500-page book, so it took me a little while. And I liked it better at the end than I did in the beginning. So Harrison Shepherd is a guy who, he doesn't really have a home. He doesn't really have a place that he feels like he belongs. And he keeps trying to find that place. And every time he thinks he's found it, something happens to sort of push him back out again. And that's... I have a lot of thoughts about it. But the nitty-gritty of the details of the book are that Harrison Shepherd he grows up to be an author. A very celebrated and well-known author, actually. But because of his previous associations with Diego Rivera, Frida Kahlo, and Lev Trotsky, who was the leader of the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, he's investigated by the Un-American Activities Committee and labeled an enemy of freedom or whatever. And that's a whole other kettle of fish that I won't get into, is the House Un-American Activities Committee, because that was insane. But it just sort of follows him through those important parts of American history. And I don't know, it was good. It's not really my style. It felt a little impersonal, but if you're into, American history and seeing it sort of from a different perspective, then, The Lacuna is a good book for that. It's not a young adult novel. It's not a kid's book by any means. This is a grown-up person's book. But, if you have sort of a higher requirements for your reading, I'd check it out. And what I'm working on now is The Evolution of Calpurnia Tate by, I forget, Jacqueline Kelly. And this book follows a girl in 1899 in Texas, and she discovers an affinity for science. She loves to, like biology, she loves to observe animals and plants and write her observations down in a notebook. And her grandfather encourages her in this. But if you've ever read anything from 1899 or know anything about the turn of the century, you know that girls' and women's choices were very restricted. There were only so many things that they could do and still be considered ladies. And studying science was definitely not one of them. So she has to sort of come to terms with that and how she's going to merge her nature with what society expects of her. And I'm about, I would say probably about a third of the way through it. But it's interesting so far. I'm at the point where she's about to go, she's about to do a piano recital, and she hates playing the piano. Hates it. And she's super, super nervous about it. But I'm about to find out what happens with that. And now I'm going to eat donuts.